Welcome to the Flourish.Academy podcast. My name is Heather Lahtinen, and I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Mara Chick. We believe everyone can be successful in any endeavor they pursue, whether it's personal or professional, by constantly nourishing your mind. By reading books, you can impart wisdom, tactics into your life and your business. In this podcast, we will be discussing the books that have impacted us and share actionable strategies at the end of each episode to help you succeed.
Yeah, so sit back and relax. We'll do the reading so you don't have to. We are continuing our discussion of Successful Women Think Differently by Valorie Burton. We're getting there. We are on habit 5, okay? And this is all about cultivating positive emotion. And I'm going to jump right into page 120. Positive emotion is a powerful ally. Happily successful women have a secret. They see fun as an essential element of success. As a result, they have discovered an important truth. Happiness doesn't come from success. In fact, it's the other way around. Success comes from happiness. Happiness actually causes success. For years, it was argued that successful people are happier because they've achieved what they wanted. This belief asserts that your happiness is dependent upon your success. This is the very reason why so many women and men alike chase after professions and people and accolades. They mistakenly believe that if only they had X, they would finally be happy. If I get that promotion, if I finally get married, if I get my dream home, if I make my business successful, then I'll really be happy. No matter how you define success, the truth is that happiness comes in the journey. The positive emotion and moments that are created along the way actually make you emotionally, physically, and mentally stronger, thereby enabling you to make wiser decisions, forge stronger relationships, and better handle the unexpected turns and challenges of life. This empowers you to be successful.
The key here is that success comes from happiness. You have to be happy first, and then you will obtain success, not the other way around. We've talked about this in previous episodes. We've talked about Sean Acorn, his book, The Happiness Advantage. He has studied this. It is fascinating, and it is very, very true. So cultivate positive emotion. Be happy.
Find happiness now. There's happiness and
what
joy
yes.
in your life right now, and it might just take you longer to search for it because we as a society are always, it's easier for us to find and zone in on the negative than it is the positive. But once you start seeing it, it comes easier and becomes easier and becomes easier. Okay, moving straight to page 122. And this is where Valorie starts talking about building an emotional bank account. Both negative and positive emotions build over time like a bank account. Positive emotions are deposits added to your account, cushioning the blow of any negative experiences you may face. Negative emotions are debits that subtract from your account. Too many debits without deposits can leave you overdrawn and without the resources to manage the everyday stresses that come our way, let alone the major ones that occasionally show up, unwelcomed and unexpected. So it is essential to be intentional about building a bank account of positive emotional experiences. Well, you want to know what I do? Whenever I have a bad day, I have this box that has all the cards or notes or emails that I printed out from clients that just let me know how much they enjoyed their session with me and how I changed their lives. And so that's my positive bank account, and I will go sit there and read until all these feelings, and it just reminds me of why I do what I do. And I think in my self-love club a couple of weeks ago, I had them write down all the things that made them happy, just because I think it's important to help build that bank account up, and you need to know what those are, big and small. I mean, feeling passion, the sound of laughter. Like for me, hearing waterfalls, I love the sound of a waterfall and it makes me happy. So just knowing all these things, then it's easy for you to go to that list and be like, okay, I'm going to fill my bucket today.
Okay, so if you're having that bad day and you feel yourself sort of downward spiraling and you go to this container that has all of your notes in it, how quickly are you able to, number one, acknowledge and capture that thought and think, I have to turn this around, and then to actually going and executing?
It can be about 5 minutes now.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't need a ton of time because I'm so good at like keeping it positive and moving. And that's not to say that we don't have our down moments. Like we do. We all go through struggles in life, but they're not going to keep me down for too long. I'm going to feel them and I'm going to get emotional about stuff, but then I'm going to recover quickly. I'm not sitting down weeping in a corner for 2 days. No, give me about an hour and I'm back at it.
It sounds like you've adopted the Heather Lottinen mindset, which is you have 2.3 seconds to get it together. You know, if I'm really struggling, I'll think to myself, I need to snap out of it. How can I do that? And I have things like that. And I also think to myself, what do you enjoy doing? Okay, I'll go bake cookies. I love to bake cookies. So if I need to really mentally snap out of just that downward spiral, I'll go bake cookies. So I suggest this to people as well. I'll say, okay, you're really struggling. Your relationships are struggling. What can you do that makes you happy? And I give the example of baking cookies. But what I found is that a lot of people don't know what makes them happy. And I say, isn't there something, maybe it's taking a walk or seeing a movie, or is there something? So you have to identify.
Oh, yeah. Women struggle with this a lot. I have a friend who's gone through some really rough times as of late. And I said, we're going to figure out, like, my goal in the next 5 months is to get you back to, like, where you were. She's been taking care of her husband who's going through, like, cancer treatments and stuff. And I said, what are the 3 things you love to do? And she could not answer them for me.
Right.
And I said, okay, that's my goal. We're going to find out what those 3 things are, and then we're going to do them consistently for the next 5 months. She was like, okay, I'll have to think about that. Like, to have to think about what you love, I don't know.
We've let it get pretty far.
So it's pretty far. Yeah. Okay. Back into the book on page 126. Being chronically unhappy has the same effect on longevity as smoking cigarettes daily. Okay?
Think about that.
No.
Right.
Successful people take their happiness seriously. They don't dwell on negative, and they fill their life with positive. Positive words, positive people, and a positive outlook. Okay? Do you fill your life with all those 3 things?
Well, it's a choice. Absolutely.
Yes.
Positive people, positive outlook, words. Absolutely. Because it's a choice. And I can recognize how bad negative thoughts can lead to negative actions, which ultimately lead to bad decisions. And I don't want to do that. So I think, how can I change this around? I have bad days for sure. And I have to snap myself out of it. And I think, how can I do that? Yesterday I was struggling. So you know what I did? I went to Hobby Lobby. I snapped out of it. I was really
shopping.
Yeah,
Yes.
I went shopping. I needed a few things at Hobby Lobby, and I don't believe in retail therapy, so it wasn't about therapy. It was, I needed some things, but I love Hobby Lobby because it's beautiful, and I
like to go just walk around and
Right,
look at
it's
everything.
pretty.
I would never buy
Right,
most of the
stuff
there,
that you don't need.
Yeah.
But so I went there just to snap myself out of a negative mindset, and it worked. I was really happy. So, but you have to know what makes you tick, what makes you tick, what makes you happy, and then do those things.
And Valorie just touches on a couple of things in this part of the book about livability, life abilities, meaning, and satisfaction. So if you have the book, I really recommend you read those sections. Now, practical ways to build positive emotion.
I love practical ways because that means it's something we can do. You know, I love reading the theory and learning about it, but like most people, I imagine it's okay, how? What do I do?
Just tell me what to do.
Right.
And that's why I think the strategies that we come up with at the end of every episode are really important and critical to help women be successful. Okay, Valorie says on page 127, one of the keys to building positive emotion is to know what brings you joy and then be disciplined about incorporating it into your everyday life. Choose joy in the mindset of trouble. It is a deliberate choice. We have said this a million times already in our very early podcast that it's a choice. Everything is a choice. Your mind, and it all begins and ends in your mind. So you have to choose joy. And I'm not saying I know there are traumatic experiences that people have, but there is joy to be found in every single moment. You might have to look harder.
But it's there.
But it's there, and you have to find it. I mean, because life is really sucky.
Life is really challenging. I
Yes.
listened to a podcast recently from a Vietnam veteran who was in the Hanoi Hilton for 6 years, POW, prisoner of war for 6 years. As he was being shot down, he is parachuting down into the rice paddies. They are running towards him, about to capture him. He said he was thinking to himself, oh, thank goodness I'm being shot down so close to Hanoi, because then I won't have to suffer all the traveling difficulties that many POWs had to suffer. He was literally finding joy in that moment. This was not a happy time for him. He knew he was about to be captured, tortured, possibly killed, and he thought to himself, he chose to focus on the good, which was, I'm not dead, and I'm close to Hanoi, which is good. They'll transfer me to that prison, and I'll be there in no time.
That is a great
That's a good outlook.
to have.
Right.
Okay, so that's the end of our habit 5, which is cultivating positive emotions. So just a couple strategies for you. I want you first to think about what do you love to do that makes you happy, smile and laugh. And if you do not know what those things are, at least 3 things, please, 3 things. You got some work to do.
It's time to do
You have
some
some inner contemplation that you need to partake in to figure out what those 3 things are. And I know you've been beat down and like life is hard, but there are things that you love to do that make you happy. Find what those are. And I want you to do that activity or whatever it is at least twice a week. Okay. And I want you to remove all distractions when you do it. So if it's like playing with your kids, guess what? No cell phones, no TV on, like nothing. I want your focus to be on that activity and the joy that it's bringing you.
Be present.
If there are distractions, it will negate this whole process.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
very, very good advice. In fact, she talks about something you just mentioned, which is play. And she says,
play, yes.
play often. Play in the means with your kids, sure, but not necessarily. Is there something that you enjoy doing? Is a board
Yes.
game?
I love board games.
Yes, something that is just distracting from life's challenging situations. It's
Just
just
have
fun.
fun.
Just
Yeah.
lighten up and have fun.
And then the other thing, I want you to think of a way that you could maybe volunteer to bring a smile to someone's face, because when we're serving others, it makes us feel good. All those positive emotions come up and positive emotions for them. So it's just this flow of like love and positivity that really feeds off each other. So that's it. Play and volunteer. Those
Right.
are your 2 things to do.
That doesn't seem hard. It seems like fun.
That's easy stuff.
Right.
Okay. We're going to move straight into, we're making some ground here.
Yeah.
Habit 6. And it's called Be Prepared for Battle.
Oh, she says why you must expect obstacles and have a proven plan to overcome them. Expect them. Look forward to them. Have a plan. Good.
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 Okay, straight from the book on page 132. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. Resilient people thrive and grow in the face of adversity, challenges, and change. When you set out to intentionally engage in the habits of success, you can almost guarantee you will be challenged. That's life. And those who are prepared for the battles, both large and small, that inevitably ensue are the ones who will experience the most success on their path. You have to intentionally consider your options, the best preparation, and the support you'll need to achieve your vision and goals. Resilience can only be tested in the face of challenges. The woman who never accepts a challenge never knows how resilient she is.
I've underlined this.
Yes.
You've got to go through some tough times and go for something to test your resilience. How would you know,
How do you know?
unless it happens?
You don't.
So you have to look for it. Be happy. So when a challenge comes, you need to think to yourself, good. This is going to test my resilience.
Yeah, I know. This happened to me recently, dealing with something in the business. And, I had a choice as to how I looked at it. And it was like, is it either going to bring me down or is it going to make me better? And it's going to make me better. So good. I'm glad I'm going through this right now because it's just going to build me up.
Gosh,
Not a lot of people can do that.
And that's such an important mindset shift to look at challenges, obstacles, and even failures as something that's going to make you better and to actually seek them out and look forward to them instead of always trying to avoid them. Because if you're the type of person that tries to avoid every problem, then in the back of your mind, you feel ill-equipped, which means when it does happen, you're not going to know how to respond. But if it happens all the time, you're going to feel emboldened. Oh, I've handled situations harder than this. Surely I can manage this one. And then you do.
Boom, it's done.
It's done.
Okay, moving straight to page 134. Thoughts lead to reactions, what you feel, what you say, and what you do. If you intentionally change what you say to yourself, you will change your reactions. If you find yourself thinking counterproductive thoughts, change those thoughts to something more productive. You have that power. Okay, we're going to say it 1,000,000 times in this podcast. You have the power and the choice. It's all yours. No one else's. But when you start making excuses and blaming other people, then you've given them the power and the choice, not you. You have to own it. Okay?
Right.
Right? Get it.
Get after it.
Get after it, Heather.
She talks about trigger, thoughts, reactions. We talked about this previously where your thoughts produce actions, but usually something happens. She calls that a trigger. And then you think about it and then you react or you take action. But the key here is the thinking part. Something happens, you choose to assign a meaning to what just happened. And then you react based on the meaning that you assigned. What if what you assigned was wrong? What if it's counterproductive? Don't do that. How can I take this trigger, assign a reaction to it that is productive? So my thoughts, how I'm thinking about this, how I'm perceiving it, and then turn that into actions. There's a space there where you're in control. You need to exercise that control.
Yeah.
Don't be an
Give me
idiot.
the control. Don't be stupid. Those are your two favorite words, idiot and stupid. Okay. Back into the book on page 136. By our definition of resilience, you don't need it just for setbacks. You need it to live well. You need it to succeed. You need it to keep disappointments, anger, and exhaustion from derailing your best plans because they will threaten to do just that. Resilience is a way of living that empowers you not only to navigate the setbacks and unexpected turns of life and minimize obstacles on your path to success. In essence, the most resilient people can sometimes appear as those they face the fewest challenges. Okay, listen.
I'm listening.
Are you listening? When you're building something that you're passionate about, like I think, like when we're trying to build businesses and become entrepreneurs, we're going to face challenges and probably more challenges than people realize. And I think we shy away from talking about those challenges and struggles because we want people to think everything came easy. Oh, I know what I'm doing. It was easy for me. And that is rarely the case. I mean, rarely. We will face challenges and uphill battles constantly in whatever we're trying to achieve in our life. And we have to be more open about talking about those challenges.
I think that's important.
Because I feel like other entrepreneurs get this sense that it's perfect, it's easy, look at what she built. Well, do you know what I've gone through the last 5 years to get where I am right now? No. Because I'm not as open about the challenges. So hey, I'm adding that to my list.
A lesson for everyone.
We're going to get more open about the challenges.
Yeah, to share that. So she's talking about resilience. Oh my gosh, which I love this topic so much because she says you don't just need it for the setbacks or the failures, but you need it to live well. You need it to succeed. So I look at this as resilience learned through struggle. I wrote this in the book. Resilience learned through struggle also gives you perspective. So you gain perspective, and then certain things don't seem as bad or as challenging as they once would have because you have faced these struggles, you've overcome them, and you've built resilience. So I have a great example of that really quickly. I unfortunately lost a brother. He was 26 when he was killed in a motorcycle accident. I was 19. At 19, my brother was dead, and it was tragic and unexpected, horrific tragedy. And I remember thinking, this just doesn't happen to families like us. This isn't happening. Well, at 19, I think that was an incredible wake-up call that I'm blessed to have received, and it gave me incredible perspective. Two things happened. One is I learned I can make it through anything, and if I can survive that, I can survive anything. It emboldened me. It empowered me. And then I gained perspective. So when people are getting all upset about silly things, throwing their arms up in the air, this didn't go right, or this is a rough day, or I didn't get the latest iPhone, or my hair didn't curl well, or whatever, I think to myself, are you alive? Okay, you're not dead. Because he's literally dead. I mean, okay, if I'm alive, if you're alive, then it's not so bad. It gave me resilience and perspective. I mean, and I'm telling you straight to your face, it was absolutely the best thing that could have ever happened to me at the age of 19. And I praise God for that every single day. I think, thank you for giving me that perspective because it showed me, it again emboldened me. I can accomplish anything because I'm alive And what else is there? We're fine. We're fine. We live in America. We have all this opportunity. We're alive. We're breathing. It's everywhere. So everything is fine. Resilience comes from that struggle, but also gives you perspective. Therefore, you should look forward to, not things like that. You wouldn't look forward to something like that. I couldn't have predicted that.
You're saying the struggle then
Right.
shows you things about yourself that you didn't know were there. And
Or I could have never
thought.
Like, if you would have said to me, one of your brothers is going to die, I would have thought, I'm completely ill-equipped to handle that. I don't want to go through that. I can't. No, I can't. But I did. And I lived through it. And I came out a better person.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to page 138. And Valorie says, consider your plan of action and ask yourself, am I willing to handle that? Whether your answer to that question is yes or no, ask yourself, how could I reduce the amount of risk I'm taking? Successful women have contingency plans. They rarely take a leap without a plan B. Even if plan B isn't fully developed, they've at least considered what the initial steps might be if plan A doesn't pan out. Do you remember what my plan B was? I do. I didn't have plan B like fully developed, like she says. Like she could have written this about me. But I said when I said I'm going to quit my corporate job and I'm going to be a photographer, I said, and my plan B is, if it doesn't work, I'm going to go stock shelves at Target.
I remember it.
Because I would rather stock shelves at Target at 2 a.m. in the morning than work this corporate job anymore. So if my photography business fails, I am going to go work happily at Target for the rest of my life. And my husband wants to be like, oh, you'll never be happy at Target. You're too controlling. And I'm like, no, I will love my life just stocking shelves at Target and getting my discount.
And the truth is, if you had to do it, you would.
I would.
The worst possible scenario for any of us starting a business is failure. If it fails, what's the worst thing? I go get a job. Okay, that's not so bad.
I had one of those. I could do it again.
I could do it again. Do I want to? No. So I'm going to do everything I can to mitigate that risk by making sure that I succeed. But I know in the back of my mind, I have emotionally processed the fact that, okay, if I had to, I could go get a job. And I would. And so would you. And we would be fine. And we'd figure out something else.
Yeah, we could. So don't give up just because you think you're afraid. I mean, there's a plan B. Okay. Straight back into the book on page 142. Valorie starts talking about your support system. She says, a large part of what empowers women to be resilient is a strong support system of relationships and a self-awareness that enables us to think flexibly and strategically in the face of the inevitable challenges that occur on the path to success. The bottom line is that women have to be prepared for battle. We must expect obstacles. They are a normal part of the process. We shouldn't be tripped up by them. Instead, we must have the flexibility, optimism, and resolve to conquer the obstacles as they come, and to anticipate, prepare for, and perhaps avoid them. Choose to have people around you who support your efforts and give you wise counsel. I'm going to continue quickly on to page 143. It says, the habit of nurturing relationships and reaching out fosters resilience for a few reasons. We are strengthened by connection. We are built for relationships with others. It is in the context of relationships that we create joyful experiences, serve, and find meaning in our achievements. Making a difference, after all, is about being a blessing to others in some way. Isolation is an ingredient for self-absorption, depression, and emptiness. It is in times of challenge, especially, that our relationships bolster our ability to overcome. By reaching out, we get advice and gain perspective. We get help. We get encouragement. We get support. As you prepare for the battles and challenges of life, develop the habit of resilience using two ingredients you have control over: personal resources and how you think.
You have complete control over this.
Oh,
it's a choice.
Do you have a good support system?
I do. I am very blessed with a large family. We actually built a home and moved my parents in with us a few years ago. So my parents, who have been married 52 years, live with us, and we have 2 children. We have a really strong extended support network in our church. We're very, very involved in our church. We have a large family. I do. And for someone that doesn't, however, I think that it's still possible. You know, get involved in your church, in your community.
Join clubs. There's meetup.com that has a lot of different organizations that you can join. I mean, there are places for you to find people that can help you.
Wise counsel. What about you? Your support system?
Yeah, I think my support system's pretty good. I have a small circle of people that I really, truly trust and could probably tell them anything. And then I have, people that are kind of on the periphery. But
Yes.
I have a really good support system, and I have a lot of people that, work with me.
And care about you and
Yeah.
want you to succeed. That's critical. And if you
That I don't pay.
Right. And if you don't have that around you, you need to find
You have
it.
to
You need
find
to
it.
cultivate those relationships. You need to eliminate the negative relationships and cultivate some positive relationships, people that want to see you succeed, and spend more time with them. This takes an investment, of course. You need to invest your time, but it's important.
And when life gets hard, you're going to need those people. And
You
you
are.
have to reach out. I think a lot of times, I see this a lot in the women I work with, they have a hard time asking for help. And asking doesn't mean you failed at something. It just means you need help. So don't be afraid to ask that support system of yours for help.
It doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you stronger.
Because you're saying, hey, I recognize that I need some help before you go down, the path.
Right.
Okay. So that is wrapping up habit 6 and kind of the end of this episode. Maybe a couple strategies for habit 6 here that I'd like to give you. The first is to I want you to dream a little bit. And this goes back to maybe some positive emotions too, but I remember we did at boot camp, we just dreamed. And nothing was off limits. And as crazy as it might sound, I remember saying to Heather, I was like, I want to own this abandoned warehouse that's by my house. I mean, it was this crazy dream. I love photographing in there because it's super cool. It has no practical purpose.
Right.
It's run down. It smells like gas. But I was like, I want to own that. I think that would be really cool to just dreaming. Nothing's off limits because you never know where your mind's going to go. And it might unlock something that's
I didn't even know.
I didn't know that existed. So just spend some time dreaming and start journaling about kind of what your vision is. And the second thing is super important, and what we just talked about is a support system. And I want you to really, if you have a support system, I want you to let the people know that they are your people. Because I think we don't let people know that hey, you're my number one. You're in this inner circle of mine. And they need to know that would mean something to them. So when they come to you, and if you go to them and ask them hey, I need help with something, they're like, I'm on it, because they know that you have that connection. So get your support system and then tell those people that they're
they're important to you.
To them.
Yeah.
So those are the strategies. This episode was jam-packed with good stuff, Heather, but can you tell everyone how they can support our podcast?
Absolutely. Start by supporting yourself. That would make us happy. That would bring us joy.
Yeah.
Go to the website, grab Mara's show notes along with her strategies to help get you started on this path. Stay on the path. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you listen, and leave a review.
Yeah. We want to hear from you.
A review would help. If you prefer video, you can watch and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just go to Flourish.Academy. Share with your friends, your family, or your most important people in your network. And if you want to purchase any of the books that we discuss on the podcast, please use the link in the notes to shop on Amazon.
Get on Amazon. Shop. You already do it already.
It's our affiliate link. It just helps offset some of the costs associated with the podcast.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning into this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Flourish Academy podcast. See ya.